The meeting has now been going on for over a couple of hours, and a section of the audience is, I am afraid, showing some amount of restlessness. This itself merits the principle on which I have based the new scheme of elementary education. When you grown up children find it difficult to sit in one place continuously for 3 hours, is it not wholly wrong to allow little children to be confined to classrooms for 5 hours? You have yourself proved that children should not be kept in classrooms for more than 3 hours. If the teaching hour is short, children will listen attentively to what is being thought and also remember what they have heard. Though it may sound like boasting, I have all through my life tried to do only good to the poor. My opponents may agree that I might be doing good to the poor, but that I am still caste conscious. They may even go to the extent of saying that I do not like to see any person belonging to another caste coming up or prospering. That is a wrong charge, and I can only pity those who believe this. This again only shows that all the propaganda which is being carried on to remove caste distinctions has only resulted in aggravating the differences. I have lost hope of convincing such friends by arguments and have come to the conclusion that their hearts can change only by the grace of God. I have had in my life experiences of such changes coming over people. I am therefore confident that in this matter also the hearts of my opponents will change and that they will eventually support this scheme. How can we hope to spread literacy in 10 or 15 years? The question of universal literacy is not important in this context, and the absence of it is not going to ruin the country. We have a traditional and a culture which enables us to distinguish right from the wrong without being able to read or write. One may be illiterate and can be good and intelligent. What is required is goodness of heart and character. I have not introduced the new scheme of elementary education with a view to fulfilling the provision in the Constitution in the matter of literacy, though that will also be one of the results. I have formulated the scheme in the interest of education itself. This is not a matter to be argued on, but one to be practiced and tested. Still, when the system is being criticized in public and in the newspapers, it becomes necessary to answer some of the criticisms in order to remove doubts and fears from the public mind. I will utter a note of warning that while we are indulging in arguments about the scheme here, other states are busy giving effect to it. The issue is quite simple. The need for having basic schools has been accepted and approved by the committee appointed by the government. The main feature of basic education is that 3 hours a day should be devoted to teaching and 3 hours to some craft. But we trained people as teachers who had no connection with any craft for generations. These teachers acquire some knowledge but are unable to do anything with their own hands. By entrusting basic education to such teachers, we are only preparing the ground to prove that basic education is not a success. I once had a discussion with Gandhiji on this subject and had suggested that artisans should be asked to teach crafts to children. The objection to this is that village artisans are illiterate. That is a wrong approach because when a person knows how to read and write, the emphasis shifts to words and not to work. A teacher with theoretical knowledge in pottery may know that to make a pot, earth has to be mixed, but he cannot do the actual mixing. There is no dearth of craftsmen in this country. If rules stand in the way of employing them as teachers, the other alternative is to send the children to watch them while at work. That is all that the new scheme seeks to do. In the absence of a better scheme, all that I ask for is to give my scheme a fair trial. Before deciding to introduce the scheme, I had asked the Director of Public Instruction whether 3 hours a day be sufficient for teaching. The reply was yes. It was only then I decided to introduce this system. Should I have trust in my own director of public instruction, or should I go on consulting editors of newspapers? As regards training in crafts, the success of the scheme will be in varying degrees in the beginning until those in charge of education learn from experience. The main occupation in the country is cultivating, and the cultivator must come to realize that the children coming to him are his own children. Dear shareholder, I have pleasure in informing you that your company's automobile tires and tube plant at Mysore was successfully commissioned on 3rd February. After the initial trials, commercial production of automobile tires has commenced and the product is being marketed. The production of tires for trucks and buses, passenger cars, jeeps and scooters has commenced, and production of other types of tires for tractors, motorcycles and animal drawn vehicles is being gradually taken up in the coming few months. As you are aware, this plant has been set up with the technical collaboration of General Tire International Company, United States of America, and under the collaboration terms, a number of American technicians are at our plant for training our workers as well as for assisting us in attaining production targets both in terms of quality and quantity. A good number of Vikrant tires have been on the road for some time now. It is indeed heartening to note that they have been well received in the market, and the response with regard to quality and performance from the consumers is very encouraging. We have also exported our tires to a few countries and have substantial orders on hand awaiting execution. We shall soon be marketing steel belted Emperor tires both for trucks and cars for the first time in the country. Emperor tires are the latest innovation in field of tire technology. They give up to 100% extra mileage, nearly 10% saving fuel consumption, better road grip and more riding comfort. Emperor tires will also open new vistas for exports because the world trend is shifting towards the use of such tires. The company has already established effective marketing and distribution organization throughout the country. You will be glad to know that we have already made supplies to state road transport corporations. I would request those of you who have not exchanged the reciprocated letters of allotment for the share certificates from the company to do so at the earliest. For any help, our share department is at your disposal and please feel free to write to them immediately. Thanking you, yours faithfully.